Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's May 2020 SEO newsletter. So let's dive right in. All right, the first client question starts with, I don't have a big following but want to do a giveaway. Should I wait? I think you should not wait, actually. So no, what you should do is, all it takes is one person to say, I'll take it, all right, for a giveaway. So don't wait. Absolutely, especially now, this is a great time to do a giveaway to lift people's spirits and that sort of stuff. So I absolutely recommend doing a giveaway for your business. Also, if you're waiting until you get a bigger following versus, versus like just doing a giveaway, like it's kind of a catch-22, where if you don't have the people, you have to wait versus, giving something away now. So I would say just do it now, and it'll actually help grow your following. So the next question is, can you target specific business address with Google Ads? Yes, you can target within a mile radius of an address and specific zip codes. Usually it's a business address. I'm not sure about home addresses. I haven't done that. So what you would do is you'd actually say that you can geofence this particular area, and the best use I've seen of this is in Snapchat. Actually has probably some of the best geofencing capabilities, where you can actually go around a radius of a specific place, and you can actually target people specifically that way. But in terms of radius targeting and everything, Snapchat is kind of the number one with that. Google is a second to that, where they can target within a mile radius, which is pretty good. You can say specific areas, and then Facebook is like a 10-mile radius, so it's much more open and better for larger kind of campaigns. All right, the next one is, how do I verify that a business is legitimate online? This is from Mike S. So good question here. This would be the same kind of thing you do with a normal business. So how do you test if a normal business is online that's reputable? You check its reviews. That's the biggest thing. Check online reviews. That's why I stress for local businesses to get good online reviews and everything. Google, Facebook, all those things, to have good, solid reviews. You'd also maybe want to check out other legitimate websites that might be promoting them, like Better Business Bureau, like, other links they might have to their site. And then a lot of times what I do when I look up a business is I put the name of the business and then scam. And if stuff pops up that's shady, I normally avoid that business. So that's a really good question, and that's my basic advice to see how legitimate a company might be. Now, you can go even farther if you want. You could, talk to the Secretary of State and all that kind of stuff. But that is a really good, tip there. And if it seems shady, it probably is. So, number 4, how do I get an easy share review link for Google My Business? So this is a really good question and very important. You basically want to access Google My Business on the back end, and they have an area where you can click to share a review link from the home section. So you can actually go in there and get an easy share review link from there. There's also another website called Whitespark review link generator, and you can type any business name here, and it'll also do that for you. And that's my review link, for example. So good question there. Next question is it okay to have the same page in different pieces of your menu? If so, do you have to have the same name? So with main navigation menu, you really want to think about what's the best user experience for your users. And in order to do that, oftentimes being redundant is not a good idea. So if it serves your customers, then it will serve your SEO, and it'll serve, Google and other search engines like that. So you really want to focus on serving your customers, and if that either confuses them with user interface or any of that, you should probably avoid it. All right. The next question is, what should the proper mix be given we are retail of text versus images, is what I assume. So again, here it's all about serving the customer. Google, there's kind of a running joke with Google and SEOs where SEOs are like, tell me the content I need. Tell me what I need to do to improve Google ranking. And Google says, serve your customer. That's the best way to serve your customer and focus on them. And they say, yeah, okay, that's great, but how do I just kind of game it or like improve my ranking? And it goes back and forth and back and forth. So what you want to do really is to just have, it all about the customer. And if you're answering the questions that your customers are asking, then you're serving them. And that's really the best way to facilitate that. So if you have if you have an e-commerce site and you have a bunch of different products, then you don't have to necessarily have a lot of text. You should be descriptive about the product. You should maybe answer other questions people might ask about it. Don't go overboard. But then if you just have like a text site or a blog, you would probably need a lot of text, like in blog pieces and that sort of thing, to answer the questions that customers might have. So it's always about serving the customers, really. The next question is, how long do people stay on your site, meaning my cowabundant.com site? So this is a very good question. And what I do is I basically look at my sources, and I try to go in and figure out, all the detailed sources for my actual pages. So I look at the analytics and that drive my conversions. So the ones that actually help me, improve my business and conversions, which might be Google, direct search, it might be organic, it might be paid search, and then it might be like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Bing. Those channels are the ones I look at, and I disregard the channels that I also get but don't really serve me. So when I see kind of the overall, that average bounce rate is about 51% for me, and that's average. That's pretty good. But then if it's an aggregate of just every single one that Google throws at me, it's more like 70%. So that's something to be aware of, is find the ones that actually matter to you, and that's how you should figure out your bounce rate. Okay. The next one is, can users block certain ads from showing on their websites that use Google Adsense? To actually do this, I'm going to skip this question and actually go over to here, where it's asking kind of before this is basically, what is this? And this means, how are ads placed on websites, and how can I win more auctions? So actually, I'm sorry. This kind of goes along with it, but actually I want to go to question 9, which is, how are ads targeted on websites? They're kind of all related. I can just bounce around, I guess. So how are ads targeted on websites? Google uses AdSense. That's what it's called. And currently 10.8 million websites use AdSense. And this is, obviously a ton of different websites is built with, which is a handy tool for figuring things out. 10.8 million different websites use AdSense, and that's basically partner program with Google, where Google will serve ads based on people that run ads and stuff like that. And this is tons of different sites, ESPN, WebMD, and then blogs, even like other all kinds of sites, obviously. So that's how that works, and it allows Google to serve targeted ads to people. Now, in terms of the actual targeting, is based on contextual targeting, placement targeting, and personalized targeting. And those are 3 different keys that you can actually set up within Google Ads, to target your ads. So you can, figure out where you want to be placed. You can figure out, who you want to target. You could do gender, you could do incomes, you could do The normal and best thing I kind of recommend is the websites people visit. So their intention, what they're looking for, what answers they're trying to find, and what they're interested in that way. And that's how you kind of target people on Google, whereas like Facebook is more about like interests and kind of the the life, I guess, of like what people are browsing and searching. So it's a little different methodology there. But AdSense is basically how it all works. And then on question 8, they say, can users block ads from AdSense? So yes and no, mostly no. There are some limitations. There are actually a lot of limitations, but essentially Google will serve the targeted content to your site when you're in that program, and you basically say that's okay because it's all about Google using its algorithm to best serve the customer and show them relevant ads and websites that make sense to them. So they kind of control that aspect versus the website in general. And obviously it works fairly well because they have a giant network of, sites and everything, and you might not always get what you think is relevant, but overall it's pretty decent. And then the last question is, how are ads placed on websites? How can I win more ad auctions? So an ad auction is basically ranks advertised based on their bids and their quality score. So if you have a good quality score, meaning like the content in the website looks good, people can search it, or actually are clicking on it, reading it, spending time on the page, all these kind of user interface, customer interaction stuff affects your quality score if you have a good website that way. And that is taken into effect, not just bids. So, which is very better overall for the customer. I do agree with that. Where, it's not just the highest bidder will win. You have to have a good website too. And that also, quality score is also affected into like links and, basically you taking care of your site, updating it, having a good website. It creates, this win-win kind of situation. That's their lingo, not mine. It assists the ad unit to the advertisers who value it most, blah, blah, blah. And the quality score approach is good user experience. So, it kind of sounds like lame nonsense, but I do agree with this approach, and I do think that it does work because, it's good to have some sort of balance there and not just money based on that sense. So those were the questions. Very good questions for this month. I am back at my office, as you can see, which is awesome. I'm very excited about that. And doing all my work as usual and everything. So if you have any questions, you can either send me an email. Most of these are client questions is where I get them from. But if you do have questions, normally they're just like from email, and as I'm working, I take note of these questions. That's how that works. So over here, if you would be so kind, there is a link to donate to Columbus artists and musicians in Columbus, Ohio. I was a former musician myself, and I have a lot of friends who are musicians, so this is obviously very helpful to support that. Next is SEO news. So SEO news this month. First off, we won an award, which I'm very excited about. This one was from expertise.com. They named us a top SEO agency, and also SEOblog.com gave us a top rated agency award. So very happy about that for May and for 2020. So that was really cool to get. Another thing down here, Google had a search update. So this happened recently. There's a new search update that just happened on the 28th, basically the end of April. There have been a lot of different updates going on, a lot of chatter in the SEO industry about some of these. Rankings have gone kind of up and down, and I think it's to kind of mitigate the effects of health issues now with what's going on. So that was a big update, just to be kind of aware of things that have changed and for rankings moving forward. So the next one is 17 best SEO free SEO tools. This is a great list from semrush.com. I love SEMrush myself. I use that for myself and my clients. And the first, I would just read this article and just go through it. I use a lot of these tools. Some I knew about, but I haven't quite taken the dive yet on like Rank Math, which I hear is a great tool for WordPress. I'm possibly gonna take that into my website soon. But yeah, just check that out. It's pretty neat. The next one, there is a Google ad update for ad credits, so also check that out because it might be beneficial to you. Stipulations apply. Basically, you have to have been advertising in 2019, most all of 2019. So if you have, then you'll be eligible, and I will keep the businesses I work with updated on that as soon as I know, which should be by June 30th. We should know more. So big news for Google Shopping. Google Shopping has opened up the platform, and basically in a major shift, they have opened it up for free product listings for Google Shopping. So be on the lookout for that. That's a big update. They will still keep the look with the paid listings whenever you search for a product on Google, but the actual shopping pages will now feature SEO listings as well. So Google Ads to require verification. This is going to happen. Actually, it's happening now already. So if you have a new Google account, you'll have to get that verified. Because I'm a Google partner, I can kind of skip some of that verification sometimes, usually most of the time, and have less stress overall for my clients. So that's kind of an advantage of working with an agency there. This was a article about Google earnings that was kind of interesting. So obviously they like everyone, they've been affected right now, but even so, they expect 1 to 8% growth overall, which is pretty crazy just to think how big their projections were even prior. The fact that they're still having growth even after this is wow. So that's an interesting just read. You can check that out. This is a fun one, and now onto the fun stuff. So this is all the fun news. I just like this stuff. This really cheered me up. It's a Kermit new post from Kermit the Frog. He did Rainbow Connection, so it's great. You know, who doesn't love Kermit? He's the man. So check that out. It's a great listen. He does a great job, as you would expect from the great Kermit. So there's also some other fun things to check out. There's a link if you're a local business looking for cleaning supplies of local Wasserstrom restaurant supply. You should check out for some of those stuff. There's a link in my website and newsletter. There's also a link to donate to the refectory. I do recommend, if you can, they provide meals for those in need right now. And refectory is a restaurant my wife and I enjoy on special occasions. And if you can, help support that. Next is some funny memes. So do check out the newsletter. Several ones. There's one from the New Yorker. There's just fun stuff that happened with Norton antivirus. Zoom meetings were big this month. That was all the rage, you could say, for memes. So I picked off some of those memes. I was kind of enough of those. But there are some fun ones in here, so check that out. And finally, do check out the Jason Barger podcast. That's something we just wrapped season 2 of the Jason Barger podcast. I'm very happy about that podcast, and it's just been phenomenal to work with Jason on that. So do check out this. So subscribe on Apple or Google Podcasts. It's a great one. A lot of relevant information about leadership and all kinds of really, really in-depth, great stuff, great interviews from just incredible people as well. So do check that out. And then lastly, if you haven't, get our ebook. Do check that out on our website. And so thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope this was informative. I hope that you got value out of this. If you did, please like and subscribe to this page. It really helps me out and helps the channel. If you have any comments or questions, think I missed anything, then put that below in the comments. Thank you so much again, and be well. Bye, everyone.